Hey everybody, welcome to another tutorial stream. This is going to be part 2 of our NPC spawning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of cover using the mod controller and merging the weighted spawn table and the spawn table for the NPCs. And on our last tutorial, I talked about as far as the manual spawn points. And one thing I forgot to mention was when you place the spawn points, also make sure that you do not have the hand halfway down or below the actual world, because your NPC will actually fall through the world and drop through the world. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, and I'm trying to figure out why our music just kicked up. Oh, there we go. Our awesome music. Thank you, Sin Dolphin Valley, for following. Okay, awesome. I forgot all about that. The custom music. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't hit play. Okay, so, all right. Okay. Well, thanks, Suli, for joining us. We're on a tutorial right now. So let's go ahead and get to it. So as I was saying before, make sure your spawn points are not below the world. That will cause you issues as well. Okay, so to kick this off so we can actually do a custom NPC, what we're going to do is we're going to have to do what was called a mod controller. And so we'll go ahead and we'll go into our mod folder, which is the Conan Exiles is what I'm using for this mod currently. And I'm going to go ahead and right click in here. We're going to go blueprint class. And we're going to go, I believe it's actor, if I remember correctly. Actually, sorry, nope. I'm doing something wrong here. Let me think. Delete. I'm missing a step. It's been a while. It's blueprint. We're going to go to, oh, sorry, we're going to have to drop this down. And that's what we're doing. And we're going to go mod controller. And we got to find it. Where's the mod controller? Mod controller right here. All right. Click that, hit select. And then we're going to go ahead and just call this BP, our mod controller. Control. I'm just going to do this, and I'm just going to say bar Chan. All right, so that's what I know is the mod controller. And you just want to kind of give it a unique name so you know what it is, okay? And we're going to go ahead and we're going to open it up. It's going to bring us up an event graph here. And as soon as it loads, gotta love the dev kit, takes a little bit of time. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually plug in the data tables, and I've already got 2 data tables set up, but I'll show you how to get to those. And I got to name them, of course. So we'll do that here shortly once the blueprint opens. Takes a little bit. All right, as we're waiting for the dev kit to do its process. As it's thinking. And we'll try to cover the custom NPCs, and maybe a custom NPC. We'll see how much time I have. I don't want to go too far over. I know I have my regular stream where I just do world editing and building and stuff like that. All right, so you'll come up with this window. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the event graph tab right here. We're going to click that, and we should have. Where is that mod controller thing on our table? Well, let's see. Is it mod? I think it's merge. No. I'm trying to remember. It's killing me. It's killing me, Smalls. Mod. Oh boy, I'm having a brain fart time. I can't even think of this now. Oh no, I might have to go back to this. We'll come back to this maybe. Let me see. Let's see. Is it merge? Or is it controller mod? Controller? I can't even think what it is now. That is bad. I'm sorry, guys. I can't even remember off the top of my head what it was. I thought it was a table. Table merge. Usually it comes with the little thing. Hi, Cypher, how are you? Okay, let me see. Oh, maybe, I'm sorry, you know what? I think I went to I'm not supposed to go to the event graph. I'm supposed to go to the mod table operation there and then go here and go merge. Sorry, guys. It's been a while. My brain's a little rusty because once you do this once, you don't have to go back in and do it and make one. So I apologize. It just took me a little minute to get my brain to fire off. Hi, Sakari. My dog is trying to pester me during this. Okay, so what we're going to do here on the mod controller, we're going to compile and save this. So we'll just compile and save it. All right. Hi. You're being a little bit of a pest. I'm busy doing a tutorial, Sakari, please. Okay, so to be added data table and to merge into data table. Okay, so this is going to be the basic Conan one. So we're going to do spawn table. Okay, and we just need to find the spawn data table. Map spawn. Spawn data table, there you go. Okay, and then this is where we need to put our table. So I'm just going to go ahead and move this over here. And what we need to do is, I'm going to delete these because I was just making sure I remembered how to get to these, because my brain's fried. Because usually you guys see me, I am busy doing map work, and I really hate having to do all this custom stuff because it's data entry takes a while. But I want to get you guys started so you understand the process of doing all this too. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to go right click and go to miscellaneous data table. And now what you got to do is you got to pick a structure. We're going to look for the spawn table. Now this is a big list of stuff here, so we got to carefully go through and find our spawn table row. Okay, we hit OK. And we're going to call this spawn. And we're going to call this we're just going to call it bar underscore because this is the Branch Isles. Bar spawn table. Okay. And if I open this up, what we're going to have is we're going to have this empty table of information that's going to have like the name, the male race, the female race, the equipment templates, profession templates, stat templates, modifiers, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So right now it's blank. And you want to start with a blank. You don't want to start with a base one. Otherwise, it causes the system to sit there and populate all those entries that you don't need. You want to make it as smooth transition as possible so the server doesn't have to sit there and read through all those spawns to find your new spawns. Okay, so we'll have a brand new table here. Go back to our mod controller, and we are going to find ours, which is bar, and there's the bar spawn table. And all right, so now it's combined. We compile, save. Now what we can do is we can copy this, Control Copy and Control V. And we can actually copy another one because we're going to need this for our weighted spawn table. However, we're just going to make sure that we clear these entries and just put none because we don't want those there. All right, compile it, save it. And what you're going to do is you're going to do this for each table, data table that you have to merge with the base game. Okay. So now we need to go ahead and make a weighted spawn table because our spawn table is what we draw from. The weighted table is connected to the spawn table, which pulls the NPC that we need that we're going to create. Okay, so we need to be able to find it, what it is, boom, 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 and then spit it out. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we got to go back to our content window. All right. And let's go ahead and open this. I'm just going to save it so I don't lose it in case we have a crash. All right, we're going to right click again. We're going to go miscellaneous. We're going to go to data table. This time we're looking for the weighted spawn table. So slowly go through the list, and it's a lot to read through. So take your time. Weighted spawn table row is what we're looking for. All right, we click that, and we're going to call it bar underscore weighted and table. All right. And we're going to go ahead and hit file. And we're going to hit save on that. So now we got it, and it's going to be weighted IDs. All that stuff is all up here. Okay, so it's blank. Now the trick is, you're like, well, what do I do to name all those and put all that data in those entries? Well, this is the great thing about it. So what we do is we go up here to the content, and we're going to type in the search. We're going to type spawn. All right, so we're going to get our spawn first. And we're going to look for our spawn data table. And what we can do is we can use these filters, and we're going to tell it to go to data table. You might have to add these filters by going here and right-clicking and just add a filter and plug it in here, go miscellaneous. And see, I got data table checked. And you can check other ones that you might want to find. Okay. All right. So now there's our bar spawn table. What we want to do is find the actual base game, which is the spawn data table. So we open that up. All right, so here it is. It's populated over here. And what we need to do is come up with an NPC. So let's see, just one off the top of my head. Let's go Delencia Snow Hunter. I'll use her, named after me, thanks to Funcom. All right, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to right click on her, and we're going to hit copy row. All right, now we're going to go back to our spawn table. We're going to right click in here, and we're going to hit paste rows. And what it's going to do is it's going to auto-populate all the information that was currently up here before. It's going to fill it all out for us down here. Okay, so all that is filled in. We don't have to do nothing, but what we are going to do is we're going to change a little bit of things. Okay, so we're going to hit File. We're going to save it. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to change the equipment on her so she's not coming in with this light armor. So I'm going to go back to the spawn table just to show you how this works. But before we do that, we're going to go to and find our weighted spawn table, base game right here. We're going to open that up, and we're going to type Delencia again. And let's see. No, we're going to have to find her. What was she? Actually, sorry. Her base name in the spawn table is Forgotten Tribe Fighter 4. So if we grab this information here, I got ahead of myself there. We go back to the weighted spawn table. We type that up here or paste it in. There she is. Okay, so we have two. We got a random legendary and legendary entry. So I'm just going to grab the, I don't know if she's 3316 or 3328. So we're just going to try the top one. Okay. I'm going to grab it, hit copy rows. Go back over here on our weighted spawn table, and we're going to paste the rows, and it's going to auto-populate it all for us. Go File, Save. Now, what we got to do, though, however, is we need to change the number here on the row name. So we have to change this ID number so it doesn't conflict with the base table. So you got to come up with a number, and I'm going to just come up with one off the top of my head. We're just going to do 1974, 1974. Okay. Hit save. And it's all plugged in here. But what we got to do is take this ID here, and we're going to go to our spawn data table, and we're going to make sure that it's plugged in here, but we got to change that. Okay. So what we want to do is we're just going to go in here, and we're going to change the name, and we're just going to say tut test _1. So we're going to actually change it. All right, and we're going to go back to our spawn table, our weighted spawn table, and we're going to change this here, Control V, to mimic exactly what's on our spawn table rate. Oops, that didn't change. We got to get that to change. All right, there we go. Okay, so that entry. All right, correct. Good. So what that does is this basically, the weighted spawn table is pulling this information on the row name because it's all serialized secretly behind in the engine. And it will pop up over here on our weighted table. It says, okay, I need to pull tut test 1, and your row name number is going to be this. All right, some super secret Unreal stuff that goes back in the engine. All right, so now if we save our table, and we don't want to save the base game table, so I accidentally touched the base game table and changed that. So oopsie, let's back that up. My bad, got ahead of myself. To fix that, we'll just go back here. We're going to grab this and go, boom, copy that. Go back, or actually, you know what? We don't even have to do that. We just hit close on it, and we won't save it. All right, so weighted, bar spawn, We'll kill that so we don't have that in our face. So now we just got our stuff right here, okay? And there she is. All right, so all set up. So now what we should be able to do from the last tutorial is come over here. We're going to make a copy of that one, that manual spawn point. We're going to drag it over here. And I apologize if I lost you. You can always just roll back the video. Okay, and what we're going to do is go to Windows, Details, go down here, and we're going to add another row. And we're going to take our eyedropper, come over here, plug that in. All right, and let's save the area. All right, so it's saved. So now what we have to do is bring our data table back up. So we'll kill that, so we don't need that. We're just going to go to our mod folder. And it's always good to kind of keep yourself a little bit clean here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new folder. Make sure I'm in my actual mod folder to do that. New folder. And we're going to call it data _ tables. That way we can kind of keep this clean so you know where to find them. And we'll just say move here. And it's going to automatically clean up, wipe them, change them, boom. Now they're in this special folder for us. All right, so now we're going to go to our weighted table. We're going to grab our test one right here. All right, and we're going to go to our manual spawn point like last time. Bring up our Windows Details panel. And we're going to go here and we're going to change the spawn name from the Priest Demetra. We're going to just drop in test one. All right, we'll hit save. Now when we hit play, if I did everything right and didn't go too fast and overwhelm my brain, we should have Dalencia Snowhunter spawn there. And voila. Okay. And hopefully we're not falling through the world here. I love how it does this. Big black screen of doom or death, right? So let the dev kit do its thing. So hopefully everybody's doing good out there. I like to do the live tutorial, so hopefully you're enjoying my tutorial. Sorry I'm a little rusty. It's been a while doing this because, like I said, I spend most of my time building dungeons and laying them all out. And the mod controller is usually the first thing you do, and then you forget about it and you never touch it again until you start merging tables. And, you know, you tend to lose it over like 6 or 7 months because if you're working on the same mod, you just don't go back to the table as much. So it is embarrassing when I can't pull that rabbit out of my hat. So bear with me, folks, bear with me. But it's a lot to try to remember, so keep that in mind. Lots to remember. There should be some guides in the actual official Conan modding Discord. All right, and we're going to hit our admin panel here and turn off eating. We should cloak. Now, if I did all this right, we should have our spawn, but I might have made a boo-boo, but we'll see. That's my old character. That's interesting. It switches between two characters. I don't know why. Okay, so I got a boo-boo going on here. Because why? Let's see, because I got ahead of myself. We have to go to our mod controller, more likely, is where I made my boo-boo. So we turn that off so we can actually see our filters. Otherwise, if you have your filter on, you won't be able to see it. So make sure you turn your filter off so you can actually see the blueprint, okay? So let's open back the mod controller. Aha, see? Beginner mistake, noob mistake. So I'm repeating a noob mistake, but that's a good thing because then I'm showing you, oh shoot, you know, if something doesn't work, go backwards through your steps and go, oh, duh. And then you remember, okay? Because if you're not doing this a lot, you kind of forget it, okay? So let's go find our weighted spawn table, base game, all right? Boom, boom. And then let's find our bar. I'm just going to type bar because it's going to bring up my two, you know, special tables there. We're going to do the weighted, compile it, save it. Now, if I did this right, like I said before, embarrassing, we should have a spawned character in here. All right, Control-Shift insert. So we can cloak, turn off the eating. Let's see if she loads in here. If not, I'm embarrassed myself. And I got to figure out what I did wrong, because I might have jacked something up. So we'll see. Elevator music's playing. And I don't think she's going to spawn, so we did a boo-boo. Alright, so where's our boo-boo? Let's see what I did with my boo-boo. Alright. Data tables, so we got our spawn table. Alright, there she is. Test 1. Okay. Alright, so that looks correct. So let's take this. We go to our weighted spawn table. Let's see. Test 1. There's our number. What's it doing? Okay. Is it the spawn table ID or the weighted table ID? Remember we had this last time. So what are we doing wrong here? Let's double check something. Maybe this character ain't working. It's a possibility. I don't know. We have to figure out what I did wrong. So to figure that out, I'm just going to go ahead and do the our weighted spawn table, vanilla base game. And we're just going to grab this and we're going to go Delencia. Okay. Actually, sorry, she's Forgotten Tribes again. Sorry. So we're going to do Forgotten Tribes. And she was a number 4, and she was a what? It was like 3316, was it? No. Let's see if she was. She was high up there. She was a purge. Let's see here. Where was she? All right, I'm gonna have a hard time finding her that way. So let's go ahead and we'll open up the spawn table. Data table. All right, spawn table. Let's go here. Let's type Delencia because that'll bring up her name. Oh yeah, you know what? Because I made that part of that boo-boo right here, and it's screwing things up. So let's see here. So I accidentally did this, which is totally terrible, bad idea. So it's probably stuck in memory right now. All right. So we're gonna delete that. All right. Let's see. What we're gonna do is we're gonna close that, and this is kind of crazy, but let's do this. We're going to open up the level. And I think what it should do, yeah, right there, spawn table. I'm just going to say don't save. So it'll clear that. And then what we'll do is we'll go back to the almost empty level. So that way it doesn't save my changes to the spawn table. My bad, totally. You can get confused in there too. So when you're hopping through tables, just remember, take your time. Think about what you're doing. Obviously I'm kind of rushing the tutorial a little bit, so I need to slow my roll. All right, so now let's go open level, and let's go back to the almost empty level, which should be under test maps, and it's going to be under Marcos folder. So we go to Marcos, almost empty. Don't save. It's going to ask me to save that again. All right, so we're back here. I'm hoping it's wiping that table. If not, I gotta just do this all over again, and it's gonna be terrible. All right, spawn data table. It's still asking me to save that. Oh boy. Okay. All right. So let's just go Forgotten. I can't believe this is not actually coming up. Gotten. Why are you not? Okay, now I think the dev kit is just being totally douchey. Oh wow, really? All right, let's just do Hunter. Yeah, see, okay. Yeah, it's being silly. So let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and do a, oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let's see. We can do this. Wow. Okay. Let's do this. Let's restart the dev kit because it is being totally dumb. So I apologize. So let me go ahead and restart that real fast. So let me go ahead and we're going to put a little break here. So just give it a second. I'm just going to restart. It shouldn't take too long. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. All right, so we got the dev kit rebooted. All right, so now back to our content folder. We're going to look for our spawn data table, so we'll type spawn. Okay, and the great thing about learning from this too is if you accidentally save the table, just go back into your mod folder in the active folder. You can go find it, delete it, and then reload the dev kit. And usually it gives you the default table, but if you accidentally save it to the main base game, then sometimes you might have to possibly reinstall the dev kit if you really jack it up. So be careful what you do. Trust me, that was a rookie mistake when I first started out doing this stuff. Okay, so Dalencia Snow Hunter, there we go. Oh, whew, thank God we fixed that. So we're just going to grab this here real quick again. All right, make sure I got that information. So she should be correct now. So if we go in here, I think she should spawn correctly. So let's find out. See if I even fixed this, make sure. Because it might have been stuck in memory. So we'll try this. If not, then I'm really pulling my hair out going, okay, where did I make the mistake again? It's been so long. So, yeah, you kind of get rusty. So just, take your time, make notes, because you might have to refer back to your notes. And there are some of the guides in the official modding Discord that Rob the Swede, one of the developers at Funcom, has so kindly taken his personal time to create these guides to help the modders out in the modding community. They are some good guides to look at. They might be just slightly outdated because there's some new stuff added to the spawn tables as far as skills, to be able to level up your thralls and stuff like that. So some of that stuff's not in those guides. And I'll kind of show you those little things and kind of go over them here in a little bit. Hopefully. I'm trying to keep from giving a massive tutorial, and this is just really weird. I don't know why I have that issue starting this out sometimes. The dev kit can do some weird, funky stuff, and I don't know what it is, but I might just reinstall it. Usually when they do an update, I'll just back up my mods and do a fresh install, and it might take me a couple hours to re-download the entire dev kit, but sometimes it's just worth it, just to make sure, that peace of mind that, hey, you got rid of the maybe some buggy crap. Okay, so that's what it was basically. So we had it set up correctly, but the problem is because I accidentally changed the name on the main spawn table. It's like, what are you talking about? She doesn't exist. So it couldn't actually find her. So there she is. She's chilling out, sleeping, because we have the emote for sleeping right now. So we're going to hit escape. We're going to grab our spawn point, go to details, and from our last tutorial we know the emotes are down here. I'm just going to go ahead and have her doing nothing. So I want her just to sit here and stand. So let's just go ahead and make sure she stands like I want to, and Control Shift Insert. When we come in, go to our table, we'll cloak so we don't set off the aggro. Okay, so there she is. She's standing there with her armor on. Okay. Now to change her up, we want to make her kind of cool. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to hit escape. All right. Content. All right. Go back to our content browser. So we know she's spawned, so that's good. So now how do we change what she's wearing? Well, what that is it's called the equipment variation table. If we open this up, oh, actually, sorry, no, that's the wrong table. This is the table where you can actually change out static meshes and do really cool stuff. I recommend, this is for custom NPCs later on when you get really in depth, you want to make a custom setup with armor, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to do some basic stuff here, okay? So we're going to go equipment template data table. All right, and this is where we can go in and plug in some base armors, okay? So you got the different ID numbers, weapons, so you got, here, let's kind of go over this. So you have your torso, which is your chest armor, okay, which has got an ID from the game. All right, your legs, your leg armor, your feet, okay, and a backpack. And you can add in the backpack, you can add certain things. I usually don't mess with the backpack, I usually use the vanilla. Okay, but let's see here. Let's go with Zamorin. Let's see. So these are all the different things you can kind of bring up and see what some of the smelters are wearing, stuff like that. But we want to do something kind of cool. All right, so the equipment template data table. Now we need to make a new one of these, remember? So, because that's the base game one, so we got to be careful. So let's go in here and let's go to our data table folder, turn off the data tables. All right, clear that. We're going to go down here and go to miscellaneous. And we need to find it. Now this is going to be kind of pain in the butt because you got to figure out which table that is. Okay, and sometimes it's the way the devs might have named it. They might know what it is, but for us, sometimes it's not named specifically that way. I found that some of the tables don't say that. Now this is equipment gender variations. We don't want that one. So we're looking for equipment tables. Now there's two types. Remember there's the variation and then the other one, which we're looking for the other one. And so now notice how this can be kind of overwhelming. That's why custom NPCs, when you start playing with this stuff, be ready because it's going to be a lot of data table entry. And you're going to be looking for the structures. Okay. See, and this is a lot of trying to figure out, okay, so what one is what? Holy boy. Oh my goodness. So where's the equipment tables? Now, the sad part is you'd think that we'd have, there's the stat template, which is for other stuff. Progression. NPC spawn entry, which is completely off the wall. That was, I think it's an older table that's or struct that's no longer used, unless it's used somewhere else. I have no idea, so I don't even touch that. But as we're looking, you're like, what the hell? And sometimes you might have to play with a couple of these and think you got the right one. It's like, oh boy. And being so small too, you're like going like this, like, okay, what's that say? And they're so kind of smashed together. So this might be a bit of a pain in the ass as you're looking. So let's do this again. I'm just going to hit cancel. Let's type this in again under content. Let's type equipment. Okay, and just do our data table again. So we got the equipment template data table and equipment variation. So we're looking for the equipment template data. All right. So we're looking for this awesome table. And the thing is you could technically, you could copy this and then delete all the entries. And sometimes it might be worthwhile instead of trying to sit there and fight to figure out, okay, what did the devs name that thing? So let's just go take a look real quick. Let's see if we can actually find. I'm going to try to find it one more time before I do the lazy route, which is, well, not lazy, but I don't want to sit here and fight for it. So miscellaneous data table, equipment. So let's look. Tag, item, energy, weapon, emotes. You're like, oh, but where's this equipment data table? So we just go slowly. Equipment gender, that's not it. Spawn table road, mapping, hints. Equipment template table row. Maybe that's it. So let's take a look at it. We'll hit OK. Let's open it up. Ah, thank God. So it's called the equipment template data table, but it's not the equipment template data table, is it? Oh, damn. Equipment template data table. Thank God. All right. See how this can get confusing? Too much going on. All right. So now we don't have an entry. So let's just go ahead and we're going to cheat it, and we're just going to copy. Let's make her an entertainer just for fun, so I can show you. So let's find the entertainer. So let's do or dancer. Let's see if it's under dancer. No, let's do entertainer. Sorry, I called mine dancers, but they're called entertainers here. And let's give her the Zamoran armor. All right, and we're just going to copy the row. Go to our template. We're going to hit paste, file, save as. Now this is where we can actually name our table. So we're going to call it equipment underscore variation. We're going to do bar, sorry, so I can have my bar, so I can actually find it. Bar equipment variation table. Okay, so that should be a good enough name, right? So we'll save it. All right, so now what we do is we take this row name here. Now we got to change it because it's not the Zamora Entertainer. So we're going to have a problem again where the table's looking like, hey, wait a minute. You know, this is the same, so it's just going to roll the wrong information. So what we want to do here is we're going to just change this up because I want to make sure, and we're going to tut underscore 1 underscore tut underscore 1. All right, so I'm just going to call it that, but we know it's the Zamoran, okay? And now we want to change it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip it down to where there's no top. Oops, let's see. We're going to delete the entry on the torso, and we got a 0 there, okay? And then I'm going to delete the legs, okay? And we're just going to add, oops, not to torso, sorry. Trash, torso, legs, add. Okay, so all we're going to have spawn in technically with this custom is we should just have hands and feet. All right, so no chest and no bottom should spawn in, but we should see the base game cloth for the nudity. All right, so we're going to hit save. And then what we're going to do is take this tut1. We're going to copy that. And what we're going to do is now we're going to go to our spawn data table, all right, where Delencia Snow Hunter is. And we're also going to change we're going to call her Delencia Hunter, because I want to be able to show you that her name's also going to change. So we change her name right here in the name entry. Down here, her equipment templates is Armor Warrior Light. We're going to delete the Armor Warrior Light on her equipment templates here. Control V, we're going to paste tut1, tut1, tut1 there. So now what that should do is it should draw in what we just did with the Zamoran. However, before we go any further, What we need to do now is go back to our mod controller. All right, take off our filter, go to our folder, open this up. Go in here, copy this merge, and remember we have to change our entries. We're just going to connect this. Ding. We're going to change this now to equipment. Okay, equipment template data table, not the variation, but the data table, if I remember correctly. And then I named mine wrong here, probably, if I remember correctly. So I'm always trying to remember the names off the top of my head. Okay, and we're going to do bar equipment variation, but it should be template. Okay, so let me, we're going to save that, right? And then what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go back in and fix that right now. And what should happen is this should populate with my name change here. So we'll go back into our data table, and we're not going to call it variation. We're going to just call it equipment template. All right, because it's technically a template, it's not a variation. So we're going to rename. Template table. So now that should populate, and it's going to change it. Okay, it says, all right, I got it. Cool. All right, it took my changes. So if we go to our mod controller, if we look, now it says here in the white, it says Conan Exiles data tables bar equipment template table. So it automatically saved the rename once we've had it plugged in here. So that's a great thing that the engine's talking back and forth in between. Now remember that sometimes if there's an update to the dev kit, the mod kit might reset some of this or completely wipe these entries. I've had it happen a couple times on some updates, but not often does it do it. But sometimes there might be a major change, and then these might get wiped. So always remember that you might have to recompile or look at something. Or if something's not spawning in, take a look at your controller, make sure all your tables are plugged in. Then start analyzing different parts of the data tables because once you start getting the custom NPCs, things are going to start getting affected because if Funcom adds like a new entry, and I'll show you an example. All right, so if we go to our spawn table here and we bring it up, down here you have your NPC class, your behavior tree, and your AI controller. Sometimes these get recoded or changed. These might be swapped. So this might be a whole new blueprint here on the main spawn table vanilla, but you got to update it here. Okay, because not often does Funcom remove that old little blueprint or entry. It might completely change. So always keep that in mind. If you start having trouble with spawning, check these little things to see if this reflects the vanilla table. Because if it's changing, chances are yours is not going to spawn. Just for example, I've had there's a dialogue section here. You can do a dialogue controller. And down here you have to put in something. And if that dialogue controller changed, the NPC won't spawn in. It'll just be like it don't exist. So any types of changes to those little things can throw your custom NPC out of the water. And down here, for instance, like this, we used to only have NPC parameters right here with thralls, and then all this other stuff here, stun break, knockbacks, progression ID curve, growth ID, perk type, AI data type, and mount ID types. These were all new additions to the AI system. So my table was old and didn't have these. These were all set to none. So the table updated, but it didn't have any of this plugged in. So I had to actually go back to my table, take the base vanilla table, and copy some of those things and auto-populate them by hand because my table is not going to read it because it never had it before. So those are things that you're going to have to deal with if there's any type of changes or something in addition to the AI systems. And AI, when there's an AI change, sometimes your tables are going to get affected. And that's just the way it is when it comes to modding. So it does get frustrating. So when you have modders going, oh my God, please don't stress me out. I'm already doing, I have to do 6 hours of work because I had all these custom NPCs, and you're all banging on the door, and you need to fix your mod. Well, the poor bastard who's sitting in this chair right now is going, oh, fuck Funcom, why? I didn't know you're changing it. So we're trying to get our mods fixed, but yet you guys are banging on the door demanding. Doesn't help the modder because we're under a lot of stress, and our personal time to go through and do data entry I'm telling you, it sucks. Okay, it's not fun, and you can see I made a boo-boo, and look at what happened. Like, all shit's gonna blow up. You know, we're human, and sometimes you're gonna overlook those things or not see those things, and sometimes it might take me a day or two to go, okay, what did Funcom change? Or if I have enough time to sit there and concentrate and go, okay, wait a minute, make comparisons to the table. What changed? And I have to read through each line to go, oh, wait a minute, that's not there. Oh. So they added that. So keep that in mind. The modder is trying to do his best or her best to keep the mod up to date, but there's a lot of work, and you know, give them a break. You know, they're doing their best, okay, and not all of us are, you know, experts at modding. Some of us are really good at certain portions of modding. Level design, I'm good at that, but when you're doing like this blueprints and data table, there's mistakes about to happen. Just one typo on an entry here can totally throw off a spawn. So always remember that. So we are working under pressure, trying to make the mods enjoyable to you. So just keep that in mind. Okay? I think I beat that dead horse in the mouth. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to try to now spawn our Dalencia Snow Hunter with Zamoran Dancer armor on. She should have no top and no bottoms, but she should have the feet and the hands. All right, so we'll hit play from here. And hit Control-Shift-Insert. Cloak ourselves. She spawned in, and wow, okay. So I got to figure out, her name didn't change. So what could be possibly happen? So let's troubleshoot this. Well, maybe because, let's see, is it the fact that she's test 1 here? Okay. So why is she not spawning with her armor? Let's see. What did we do wrong? So we go back here, we look. All right, we got our equipment template data table. This is all here. It's tut 1. Okay. All right. Our spawn table. Let's see. We're looking. What could it be? Could it be maybe it's this entry? So what we can do is I'm going to delete the weapon entry, right? And let's hit save. Because some of these entries, the way they're plugged in there, they might show up different. So I can't remember which entry will spawn in. Let's see if we fixed it. No. Why is she not coming in? Okay. With different equipment on. Let's see. Why is she not changing? All right. So we look. We look at our spawn table again. All right, let's double check. She's test 1 here. All right. Let's go ahead and let's change the extension. Let's do a 12. Okay. Because maybe, just maybe, we're having a conflict with the, let's open the weighted spawn table. And let's double check, make sure my spawn table here. Okay. And we're going to change that entry. And let's check our equipment variation, our template table again, sorry, template. So torso, it should be 0, 0, 0. Okay. All right, what is going on here? Tut 1. Okay. Krizuka, hi, how are you? Sorry, nope, not trying to avoid anybody, just in a live tutorial. Let's see here. Bar spawn table, let's save this. Let's look at it. So we got Dalencia Hunter, but she's not popping in as Dalencia Hunter. Why is that? Why is she not spawning in? Okay, so we have the name change. We have the row name. Let's make sure our row name is over here. Oh, See, so the data table is calling the old ID here. So that's why. So now we go in here. Those should be the same. Now she should spawn in correctly because it was drawing off the old table still because it's defaulting to it.
Watch out!
I believe. Or I could be lying. Why is it not working? What did we do wrong? Telling you. Something's confusing is happening. Okay. So what could it be? So let's take a look. Alright, so let's kill this. Make sure we're good. Go to our table. Mod controller. Let's make sure our weighted spawn table. Is it correct? Let's look. To be added table. Merge into the tables. Okay, bar. Oh, that's right. Because what did we forget to do? Let's see here. So the bar. Spawn weighted. Equipment. Let's just make sure. Okay, that's correct. Let's get rid of that. Oops. Make sure we get rid of that. Now we're in a situation like, okay, so what are we doing wrong? So let's look at the spawn. That's there. Okay. All right. Female template. Type 1 strong thrall. NPC controller. Okay, forgotten elite. All right. Not showing up. Why is that? Okay, weighted spawn table. All right, there's our row name. Test 12. So we got it there. Go back here. Test 12. What is going on? This is where it gets kind of funky. Like, why is she not spawning in? And why is she not wearing her clothing? Okay. So, now, there is something going on. So let's look at here. We got our spawn table. Is that correct? Our table. Yes. Yes. All right. All right. Good. Wait a minute. Let's look here again. All right. Let's take this. Let's go over here. Did we change our spawn point entry? Yep. But we forgot to do this. Now it should spawn in. See? So it's just troubleshooting to go find out, okay, what did I do wrong? Search through it. Okay? And she should pop in here, I hope. Yep, there we go. There she is. Now notice she's only wearing the boots and the gloves. So she's defaulting to these boots for whatever reason on the Zamoran template. She'll default to these boots. Okay? But there she is, and her name is Delencia Hunter. Okay? So there she is. Angry as all hell. Right? But that's how you do it. So you just kind of go back through and look at your steps on the tables. Make sure you got this plugged in, that plugged in. Okay? So there you have it. So there's her. All right? She's spawning in correctly. All right? So now you're like, okay, but how do I make like a custom skeleton? What do I do? All right, so now this can get a little bit more trickier, and this is actually going to be a little bit longer tutorial, so we'll go into a little bit more detail. So let's just do that. Okay, so now we want to make a custom skeleton. All right, so let's do this. What we need to do is let's create another folder in our mod folder here. Okay, new folder, or go NPCs. All right, and we open that up. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go down here on our category here, and we're going to look for the NPC category. And I'm just going to collapse that so that it doesn't get in my way. We're going to go to characters. We're looking for NPCs. Let's see. There they are. All right, and we're just going to look for skeletons. And now there's a couple different skeletons. But let's find... They're actually going to be called undead, not actual skeletons in here. They should be called undead. So we'll just look for the undead. So we got undead. So we look at the blueprint. We can go, okay, which undead are we looking at? Okay, we got these guys. We got the first men from Sipta. We got all these guys here. Like, what do we use? All right, so let's take this guy. I like these guys. These guys with this cool helm here. So let's go ahead and copy that guy to our mod folder. So we'll just hit our little drop down. and we're going to go to our embassy folders down here. So we're just going to drag this guy over. Make sure you drag it carefully, because if you pop in one of these, then you're going to be going, where the fuck is it? Sorry, tutorial. Where is it? So you go here, you're going to paste it in. You're going to hit copy here. Do not hit move, hit copy. If you're moving anything from the base game, say copy, not move. Okay, so now here's our custom NPC. We're going to go ahead and rename this guy. We're going to call it Undead Tut 1. No, let's not do that. Just in case we have a little, we'll do Tut A. So we're going to give him an alphabetized name. So he's Tut A. Okay. Now Tut A, we open up Tut A. All right, and we hit to open the blueprint editor. And what we should be able to do is, if we go to the viewport, we're going to see this guy. Now, the funky thing with SIPTA is certain materials and stuff aren't going to show up. So he's not broken. Okay, he looks broken in the editor, but when we cook the mod, this dude's armor is flashing, looks pretty slick. Okay, but for this view, we're going to see this guy being all jacked up right now. But then again, he might be broken, but when you cook the mod, he shows up. All right, his armor anyway. All right, so he's all slicked out. He's cool, but we want to change. We want to change him a little bit. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's make this guy. Let's make him a little tougher. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for what is called harvest. Okay, harvest. And if you click that up here in the details panel, this is the resource physical material. This also is what's going to tell the engine to say, okay, this is his stats and how much health he has. So if we search to that, that's his material. So we need to make a copy of this material. So we're going to take this and we're going to drag it over to our mod folder again, right? And we're going to go down to NPCs. We're going to copy it here, all right? Now what we want to do is we're going to change this too. So we're going to go ahead and give this undead underscore tut underscore A. Okay, and that way we know what it is, and we can define it for the engine to go, okay, this is his thing. Okay, so now the fun part of this too is the next step. It's like, okay, so we need to change his stats. So what we need to do is back to data tables. We're going to look for monster. You're going to type monster data table, and you got monster XP. You got monster stat table. So if we open the monster stat table, these are all the monster stat tables. Okay, but we need to find our guy on here. Okay, so let's find our guy. Okay, so we're going to go undead, and we're looking for the undead that's going to be probably this guy right here, which is undead, because he was undead on his table. So if we go back just to make sure, it's like, okay, wait a minute, I forgot. What was he? So if we go back to harvest, okay, so it's NPC undead, because the monster stat table is reading that physical resource material, which is right here. So we're going to copy this entry here, copy row. All right. We're going to go back to our content folder over in our mod. We're going to carefully go down here, go to our NPCs, or sorry, no, we're going to go to our data tables. So clear the monster entry so we don't have that and we can actually see our tables. We're going to go to miscellaneous. Again, another data table. We're going to look for monster stats. So we got to look down this table again and go, oh boy, let's go find this. And here we go. And we're looking. And we're looking. And we're looking for an NPC. We're looking for monster stats. We're looking for something that says monster. It's very pain in the ass. So let's just slowly look up through here and see, can we find monster stats? So we're looking. Monster stat table struct. But see, it's called data table, but it's a monster stat table struct. So see where it's named different? Sometimes that's where it can get confusing or you can't find it. So always keep that in mind that it might slightly have a variation to the name. Okay, so if we hit OK, we open it up. Aha, it is the table. Thank God. We hit paste. All right. Now we're going to hit file. We're going to hit save on our table. Okay. But it says NPC undead and we called him what? let's see, we called him, was it, shit, let's go back to the table, let's look. Okay, he's undead there, but we called him his resource. Oh, wait, yeah, we got to go over here to content folder, go to NPCs. We named him Undead Tut A. So rename, you can do this real quick. Go control copy, get the entire text, minimize that. Go back to the new table that we created. We go over here to the row name, back that out, control V, paste it in. Now, that is associated with this file, oops, content, sorry, with this file here. So now these two are talking, okay? Now, notice he's got 760 health. Let's just go ahead and let's amp him up. We're going to make this guy kind of a badass, so we're going to give him 3,000 hit points, okay? We can mess with his armor. We can mess with his XP right here. We could do all sorts of wacky fun stuff, okay? But for now, we're just going to go ahead and give him 3,000 hit points, all right? And now we also have to check and do what? We have to rename our table. So let's go back to our content folder, go back to our data tables. Now we need to rename this table. I'm going to call it bar underscore monster underscore stats. Okay? And then what do we got to do? We got to go to our mod controller. So we go back up here to our mod controller. Okay? And what we can do, we can either drag off and type merge like this, or we can make a copy, flip it through. So we just dragged off that pin, go merge. So I'm showing you different ways you can do this, guys. All right, so now we're looking for monster. Oh, there it is, bar monster right here. All right, now we need to find the actual vanilla. So monster stat table. Let's see, monster stat table vanilla. All right, compile, save that. Now it's programmed in here. Now, what we need to do is we got to go back here to our spawn data table now. All right. So now we got that point where we got the stats changed, but we need to add this guy to the table now because he's not going to spawn yet. So now what we need to do is go in here and we need to find the base name of that guy. Holy crap, what was his name? We need to find him. He was Wildlife Sipta Undead guy. All right. So his blueprint is this. Wildlife Undead Armor. So we find him. All right, so that's him there. Okay. So we need to find NPC Wildlife Undead Armor. No, that's not the guy, is it? No, it's not. We want this guy. He's the Stygian. Okay. So that didn't help us. The parent class he's based off of. So don't click that. That's just the parent class, right? It's a little trick there, so don't get tied up in that. We're looking for the Wildlife Undead guy, Sipta. Number 2, Stygian guy. All right, so we need to bring back our spawn table. So let's go find this. So let's go find the vanilla spawn table. All right, and we'll do our data tables again. Find the spawn table. Now we're going to type wildlife, and it's not coming up. Oh, dude. Oh, boy. Undead. All right, so now we're looking through the undead here. Okay, what is it? Oh, shoot, we got a couple undead here. Oh, boy. So this is where it'll be interesting. Sipta Undead Archer Vault. Undead Pirate. Let's see, he's an Archer Vault. He's a fighter. Sipta Stygian Warrior. Stygian Hunter. So Wildlife Skeleton 3 or 4. So down here you can look here at the blueprint on the NPC class. This is where we're going to plug our custom guy in, but we need to get a base entry. Okay, but we're looking for his blueprint. So he was Stygian 2, wasn't it? So he was a 2. Aha! So there he is. That's the 2. So we'll just grab this entry here, right? And we're going to copy the row. We're going to go back to our spawn data table. All right, bar spawn, edit, paste row. Okay, and then what we got to do is we got to change this entry here. So now we're just going to call this guy Undead Tut underscore A. And let's just get rid of the rest of the stuff. We're just going to go bar undead to A for me, so it's a little bit easier for the tutorial to find him. All right, and we're going to call him the undead bar Stygian warrior. So we're going to call him bar Stygian warrior. Okay, we're going to file, hit save the table. All right, so we got our NPCs there. So we got Delencia Hunter, and we got our undead guy here. And then right here, what we got to do is we got to go down to the NPC class. You got to remember this. Now we got to change this blueprint, because what's going to happen is if we don't change this blueprint, it's going to bring in the base game vanilla guy. But we want our guy who we just gave 3,000 hit points to. That guy's only got 750. So we got to go down here, click the little drop down, and we're going to just type tut, and there he is. Thank God our blueprint is so simple to find, because we named our convention so we could remember it. All right, so now we hit file. We hit save. Now we got to take this entry from the row name, all right, and we got to copy it. All right. Now we got to go to our weighted spawn table. So we go to our weighted spawn table, add a new entry, okay, and we're just going to paste that here. Going to paste this here. The weight, we're going to go 1, and then over here, our convention, 1974, 1975. All right, because we got to give him a different number. File, save him. All right, now we got to take this here. Make sure we got that correct, right? So it's all good. So we take that. Now, what we want to do is we want to take this spawn point that we created with Delencia Hunter again, right? Control copy, Control V. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring that one over, Control copy, Control V again. We're going to have 2 here, because what I want to do is be able to show you the difference. So we're going to go ahead and bring this over. We're going to make this guy, we're going to delete our tut test spawn table here, and we're going to go Control V. Oops, nope, that's bad. Oh, okay, so that didn't work, so it remembered wrong. All right, so what we need to do, sorry, let's make sure we go back here to our table. Let's see, okay, that's clear. So what we need to do is the content folder again. Go to our weighted spawn table, which is bar weighted, right here. Grab the entry again. Actually, no, sorry. The weighted spawn table, my bad. Getting ahead of myself. There. Grab this entry here. Copy it. Go back down here to our spawn point. All right. Highlight our spawn point. Now, this is the human, sorry. So we don't want to mix it up with the human, so we hit delete. All right. Go to wildlife. Click it here. Go here. Now paste it in. There we go. Bar undead to A. Should now spawn at that point. But remember, we still got to plug these 2 back over here. We got to go in here. So before we get ahead of ourselves, let's make sure that we take this, add 2 more actors, because I added 2 more spawn points. Go over here quickly, and we're going to hit our eyedropper. So we got 1, and take our other eyedropper over here. Oops, and click this. Now we got 6 spawn points programmed into that blueprint. Let's just go ahead and hit save, just in case we have a crash. Okay. Now we got our guy, our custom guy, plugged in here. Okay. Now we need to go ahead and get the wildlife SIPTA guy to spawn here. So let's go back in here, go to the base table. We're going to look up wild life underscore SIPTA, and we're going to look for our undead guy, undead skeleton fighter. He's a pirate. We're looking for SIPTA Stygian guy. Spawn table ID. What was he? Let's look. A skeleton. He was a fighter, wasn't he? He was a fighter. So it might be number 4. Might be this guy. But he wasn't a pirate. All right. Let's see here. What's the easier way to do this? Where can we find our guy? Well, let's go back to our spawn table, our vanilla spawn table. Let's see, what's his entry? His entry is skeleton fighter 1. Okay, so if we highlight this, copy, go over to the base weighted spawn table, type that up there. There he is. Okay, so I'm just going to grab his information. All right, and we want to plug him into this manual spawn point. And let's see, let's delete the human option so we have our human spawn here. And let's hit plus, go here, add them to the spawn table row. All right, hit save. All right, now we should be good. Okay, so we got everything plugged in. We should be good. We should see 2 skeleton dudes, but let's go ahead and space these guys out just in case Delencia Hunter gets angry. Let's put her over here. Let's put these guys over here, so we'll move them just in case, because we want our undead guys. Oh, and let's go ahead and let's space them apart even further. Him there, and let's do this too. Let's go here real quickly, and let's make sure it's a guard spot, and it's a guard spot. So we don't want them to roam, because what I want to do is I want to show you that we're going to spawn in 2 separate dudes, and they should be fighters. All right, but before I go any further, let's double check ourselves. Let's make sure that we actually have in our mod controller, and we clear our table. Go here, mod controller. Let's make sure we got the monster stat table plugged in. Okay, so we should have all of our tables plugged in. We don't have to touch these anymore because they're all good. So we should be set. All right, now this will be the funny part. If nothing spawns and it's like, what the hell did I do wrong? And then you're like, where did I miss the step at? What the hell? And this is where you beat yourself up. You're going, I hate modding. It's terrible. Why does everybody hate me? They're yelling at me. They want this. They want that. And let's go ahead and get ourselves a sword. We're just going to get a random sword. I'm going to go ahead and get, let's see here. Let's grab a, let's get the, let's go to the Acaroni two-hander. Yeah. All right. Come on, dev kit, as it spawns our sword. All right. All right, our sword's in hand. All right, good. All right, so now, if I remember right, this is our guy who's 3,000 hit points. So let's go ahead and uncloak. Now he should get, so he's gonna get angry. So let's fight him. All right. All right, come on, buddy. All right. Alright, I'm out of stamina. He's a badass. Alright, keep going. Alright, so he's down. Alright, we got him. Alright, we won the battle. Now let's go over here and let's take this guy on. Alright, so we'll go fight him. Now, he should be pretty much a pushover because he only has 750 hit points. See? He was smoked. So there you have it. So now he's only 750, and what was his name again? Yep, Corpse. And he was a little bit tougher, so he lasted longer. So now we know our custom NPCs are working. All right, so that's all spawning in correctly. Okay, so now let's see our data tables. So basically, in our NPCs down here. Now what you want to do is probably you want to do a subfolder, tuck those in, stuff like that. Now when you go to loot these guys, they're going to have the base loot based off of this physics material, okay? Which calls off another table, all the other fun stuff. All right, which is another whole tutorial that I'm not going to get into, okay? But now to even make sure that this guy is totally different, what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a component over here. I'm going to add a particle, okay, particle system, okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring this little particle thing up just to show you, and we're going to give this guy some sort of particle. We're going to close that. Now the particle template, we're just going to go here and let's look for fire. And let's do candle. No, let's do campfire. Let's see. Let's find a fire that's going to be fire small. Okay. And let's just put it like his head's on fire, just for fun. So he's a burning guy. He's fiery. Okay. So let's make it so this fire's inside his head and kind of flame it off the top, right? I know, I'm just doing this to show you exactly that you can do little things like that that can enhance, but you don't want to go crazy with that type of stuff because of optimization and performance. All right, so let's hit play from here. Control-Shift-Insert. Let's cloak. Get our sword out. And then let's look at this guy. And let's make sure this guy actually has a fire brewing off his skull. And there you have it. He's got a fire brewing off the top of his skull. It looks kind of funny when he's animated because the particle effect is set to be centered on his body. So if he moves his head to the left or right, it is going to look kind of funny. Because it's not going to move. Alright, that's just the way it is. There's ways you can work with that, but I'm not that expert in that kind of stuff. But for little simple things like that, or you can put a fire in his belly or something down here. So some of those might be thrown off. You could put particle effects on weapons, all that fun jazz. Okay. And then if we go over here, our guy over here should have no fire on his brain, and he's going to randomly spawn in. Because why? Because he's the base game one that's set to randomize. But our guy is going to constantly spawn like this because that's the way we have him. Okay? So, with that being said, yeah, that's a good one, Krazuka. Yeah, we don't want to set his crotch on fire because he might have an STD. There's our other character that logs in and out with us. We got Delencia Hunter over here. Like I said, now her clothing, she was wearing the Zamora robe, and so she's defaulting with that. So let's go ahead and do this. And to kind of cover that, you're like, okay, but I want to clothe her with some cool armor. All right, so actually I should have stayed in because what we're going to do is let's go ahead and hit here. This is one way to find out what armor you want, or you can go to the Wikipedia. So let's just go ahead and hit Control-Shift-Insert, hit Cloak. All right, oops, people are angry. Leave me alone. Thank you. And what we'll do is we'll go down here and we're going to type, or go to Gear, and let's just give her the Kakari. Is it the Kakari stuff? Kari? I don't know. Now let's give her the Stygian. S-T-Y-G. Okay, so what we can do is we can go here and find the cool stuff. So let's look for the... let's see. Let's give her the Raiders Greaves and the chest plate. So if we go here, we're just going to spawn these in real quick. The sandals. Alright. So did we give her... Let's make sure we gave her everything. Let's see. Greaves. There we go. She's got the Greaves. Let's give her the helm. Okay. So let's make sure she has everything. Okay. So she's decked out in her gear, right? Alright, so our character is. So let's go to our inventory. And then if you get a piece of paper, and as soon as this goes in here, okay, so the Stygian Raider mask is ID number 91050, and that's the head. Alright, so it's going to be as a head entry. Our chest entry, so we're going to go chest, and you want to write these down so you can remember, or write them on your paper so you know where you're putting them, because it does get confusing on the table. Her hands is going to be the bracers, so hands. So that's going to be 91052. Let's see here. Greaves. And the great thing about this too is you can take the DLC armor, even though you can't see it in game here, you can plug it in on that equipment template table, and they will wear the DLC gear, which is great because that's how you can really make some of these guys and gals look really slick. So those are pants. Okay, and our last one is our feet entry. So feet, and it's 91054. All right, so we hit escape. Go to our content folder. Go to our data tables. We're going to our equipment template table. We find her. She's Delencia Hunter is Tut Tut 1. So we go down here to the torso, which is the chest. All right, and then we got to type in our entry. So our chest was what? 91051. Okay. The helmet. So we got to add the helmet. And we're going to do the helmet entry, which is the head, which is 91050. And then her legs are going to be 91053. 91053. Now, if you don't enter these in correctly, what will happen is that they won't spawn in, or sometimes the character won't even spawn in because this is off. Or it'll default to something you're like, what? Why the hell is it wearing that? Because you got the wrong number in. Okay, so now we're at hands. Hands are 91052. 91052. Okay, and then the feet is 91054. 91054. All right. All right, file. Save. Now Delencia Hunter should now be wearing the Stygian Raider gear. If that don't work, then I jacked up something. And we're like, what the hell? Let's see. Let's see. There she is. And she's all decked out in the Stygian Raider armor. Okay, or Stygian. Stygian. But there you have it. So she's all hooked up. She gets the awesome coolness of the armor, and you can also hook up the swords and the weapons using that same table. They will default to that weapon or sword and all that fun jazz. Okay, so that's how you make a custom NPC for yourself to do your theme or whatever you want to set up. That's how you do it. Yeah. Lots of data table entry, not very fun. Obviously, I've been doing this for probably an hour and 15, almost 20 minutes, just trying to get the whole system set up from the mod controller to all the tables, and just to give you a custom monster and an NPC character. Okay, there's more to it than that, but what I recommend, this is a good base way to start, and then you can start kind of tweaking. And once you understand how it interacts with the tables, then you can start playing with enlarging the NPC cages. So for example, we can go into our NPC, right? This guy here. What we can do is go down here, but this can kind of throw things off. And you can play with these cages, all right? This stuff here, the cage or the mesh, all right? I recommend you expand these all together because you can get some weird results if you don't. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have all this stuff. Let's see, the capsule component. Make sure that's good. Let's see, but you got to be careful on some of those too. If you don't want to increase the capsule component, you might get some weird effects. So what you can do is just do the mesh, and let's just make this guy 1.3. So notice how he's getting a little wider, and he got a little bit taller. Oops, not 3.0. 1.3. All right. Boop. All right, so now he's a little bit bigger than his buddy. The cage is slightly a little bit smaller now. So that's where, tweak with these, but I'm just going to leave it right now. I'm not going to mess with the cage. I'm just going to leave it basic, because really, if you swat at him, you're still going to hit down here because he's taller. So let's go ahead and hit play. Now we should see that this guy is an overarching jerk, and he looks meaner and not so cool. Or he might look cooler, and he might beat you down because he's got 3,000 hit points. So we go over here, Old boy should be nice and tall compared to his buddy down there. So let's see here. Notice how he's much taller, and he's got the flames, but his flames are lower now because we actually increased them, but we didn't move the flames, okay? So that's how you do things like that if you want to get a guy a little bit taller, but not really messing too much. The NPC cages, as far as the humans, you can change those too, but you got to use the custom cage that is in the characters, and I think it's under where Conan is, the actual Conan guy that they got up there in Semper Maru. There is a cage that's empty that you use that one, and then it will automatically detect. You'll rename it, custom NPC, rename the cage, copy it, rename it to your mod folder, of course, and then you'll plug that in on your spawn table to where your character's going to be. Okay? But that's a whole nother thing I might cover later. But this is just to basically get you started so you can create your own custom NPCs and create your own little areas and camps and stuff and customize them the way you want. Also, what we can do really quick, I almost forgot because I want to cover this to make sure you're like, oh, but you got all girls here spawning. What do I do? So just to take Delencia Hunter, real simple, we're just going to go to the spawn table. We're going to go down here and we're going to go to her, and instead of having her as a female at 100%, because if you do 50-50, it'll be either man or gal, all right? We're just going to go ahead and hit 0 on the female part. We're going to go ahead and make this a dude. So we're going to go ahead and hit 100% on the weight. So now he should spawn, it should spawn as a dude, as Delencia Snowhunter, but let's just go ahead and call him Ralph Hunter, for shits and giggles. All right, hit file, save. Now it should spawn in as a dude, and his name's Ralph Hunter. Maybe. We'll see. Did we do it right? So we go over here. Well, there you go. We have Ralph Hunter now, and it's a dude, and he's all decked out in dude clothing, and he's dudely. Okay. So that's how you do that. So if you want to have 100% dudes, 50-50, 75%, just remember that's where you tweak it on the actual spawn table for your custom NPCs. Okay. So I think that's basically what I want to cover. Let me just think real quick. So we covered the spawn point being below the terrain. Make sure you don't do that. We covered cages last time in part 1. So if you didn't see part 1, I suggest you watch part 1 so you understand what the heck's going on here. But yeah, it takes a lot of time. As you can see, I kind of fumbled through a little bit because I'm so rusty because I haven't made a lot of custom NPCs in quite a while. But it slowly comes back to you over time. So now you know that just right now, as this tutorial, me doing it without even talking to you, it would take me about the same amount of time going through all that stuff and reading and all that stuff. But because I was talking and reading, sometimes I get conflustered up here and stuff like that because I'm a human being. But take your time. You'll get it. It'll start slowly coming to you. You'll start seeing how the tables interact with each other. And just remember, most of the time, a data table is going to have to be merged. If you tweak something, you're going to have to merge that table with the mod controller to the vanilla-based table. So those changes take effect. Okay, so keep that in mind. Loot tables and chests and all that stuff, that's a whole nother topic, but I want to get you right on here because I've been asked a lot about custom NPCs and spawning in NPC camps and all that fun stuff. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and end this tutorial. I appreciate everybody who came in on live watching this. I'm going to be going ahead and swapping into my normal edit the mods and stuff like that and terrain editing. But I want to thank you for your support. If you want to support me in the tutorials, please go to my Patreon, tip $1, $5, whatever you feel you think I deserve. I appreciate your support. I'm trying to give back to the community as well. Well, I've given a lot to community, I think, with all the mods, but I just want to give back to you guys to help you out too, because I know a lot of you want to get into modding, but you're not sure where to start. Here's your opportunity to kind of learn what's going on. There's some great folks to talk to in the Conan Exiles modding community. They can help you out. I'll try to help you out when I can, but I'm busy either doing my mods or working on some of my indie games and stuff like that. But that's why I'm kind of doing these tutorials to help you guys out, okay? So without any further ado, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and end this tutorial stream and end the recording, and then give me about 5 minutes. I'm going to restart my normal stream, all right, because I got to load the dev kit into the riverboats of the Exile lands. I'm going to go ahead and work on that tonight. So thanks again, everybody. Remember, follow me in my Discord channel, YouTube, Patreon. I really appreciate all your guys' support, and thanks a lot. I really appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next tutorial. All right, bye, everybody.